Imagine an airplane ordered for nearly $50 billion. But no one has this airplane yet. It hasn't been delivered yet. The most anticipated, most delayed, and most controversial airplane in aviation history is the Boeing 777X. Just think about it. There was a plan to get this aircraft seen in the air this summer by selling 100 of them to other companies. Emirates made this plan. However, how many of these are currently in service? We haven't seen any aircraft in the air this summer. Even some world-renowned authorities are not doing this. These aircraft have no distinguishing features, good or bad. Tim Clark from Emirates, Ba Mohammed Almir from Qatar, and Carson Spohr from Lufthansa. And they are still waiting. In desperation, they are calling Boeing's headquarters in Seattle, negotiating and applying pressure. Why? Everything is very dangerous, and everyone has started to fear these details. These airlines are losing tens of millions of dollars every month due to delays. Every delivery error strains their schedules, reputations, and fleets. And interesting details are already beginning to emerge. The 777X will be more valuable than airport slots and will become the world's #1 aircraft, surpassing even the largest planes of major companies like the 747 and A380. This aircraft aims to fly to places you wouldn't even think of or to destinations with high costs. That's why if everyone supports it, this venture will succeed. For some airlines, this means the difference between winning the market and losing to competitors. This is where the details that confuse and intrigue everyone begin. Despite years of assurances, the 777X is still grounded. The reasons for this are very clear. Delivering too late to customers and issues such as certification are at the forefront. Because of these problems, it is not yet at the top. However, airlines are not giving up. They are reshaping their fleets, doubling their investments, and relying more on balance sheets and technical specifications than past performance. And they are taking huge risks right now, but this company has never taken any risks. That's why they are in danger. Why do airlines have such a strong desire for a jet they cannot get? They are taking a huge risk with the money and time is running out. Eventually they will ask for this money. The risk is growing. This was supposed to be the pinnacle of Boeing's success. This aircraft was launched exactly 5 years ago and had a very stylish design and a very special engine for long-haul flights. They said it would be king of the long-haul market. Airlines opened their wallets and lined up. Emirates alone placed over 200 orders. The list continued to grow, including Lufthansa, Singapore, Qatar, and ANA. The company behind this aircraft was detailing each step they planned to take in the future. And all of this required a lot of money. But this was a dream, and reality was very different. This dream was shelved, only to be revisited 2 years later. Software reviews, supply chain chaos, a pandemic, and even a door exploding during testing. All of this points to a delivery date of 2026, but some insiders predict this date could be pushed back even further. Even the prototypes of this aircraft had begun gathering dust in dusty garages. Imagine the reality. The aircraft is now fed up with those dusty places, begging to be taken out of there. The patience of the first customers is running out. Lufthansa, originally planned to be the first airline to start passenger transport, had to struggle to adapt to using old 747s and maintain the competitiveness of its network. Emirates wanted to intervene in this situation and wanted to explain that they could solve these problems themselves. And they heavily criticized the company that made this aircraft. Then they said that if these delays continued, they would sink further and that there would be problems with progress. Consider this. The world's busiest international airline had to extend the life of its old 777 aircraft because new aircraft no longer offered the same level of reliability as before. This is not just a matter of prestige or pride. What drove millions of people to the point of giving up on this company was that the planes were delivered after the promised time, which drove everyone crazy. Boeing, already damaged by previous crises, and now receiving daily calls from partners wanting to know when their aircraft will be delivered, is under increasing pressure, much like the CEOs of the airlines. And people are now starting to ask, why is it late and why weren't we told beforehand? They argue that these companies should be shut down immediately. And why aren't they exploring alternatives like scrapping this aircraft? That question is always on people's minds. Why does this 777X aircraft continue to be the hope of jets? Isn't that ridiculous? Let's see why nobody wants this aircraft. Let the investigation begin, not as a backup, but as a revolution. And the wings are very different from other aircraft. Let's start by examining them. And the wings of this aircraft are not made from the same materials as other aircraft. They are made from lighter materials and are also aircraft made from a long list of materials. Why did they do this? It's confusing. And these wings fold, putting them far ahead of their competitors. They fold when landing in small places, allowing them to pass through easily. This is an engineering feat worthy of a science fiction novel, allowing airlines to increase lift and efficiency on every flight without having to redesign airport layouts. And underneath these wings are very important engines. They sound like absolute beasts. These are the largest jet engines ever fitted to a commercial aircraft. Each fan is the size of a 737 fuselage. And these engines are among the things that make this aircraft so popular, because everyone complains about this aircraft, or rather about the company. With advanced materials such as ceramic composites and a unique pressure ratio in its class, the GE9X offers better long range and fuel efficiency than other engines. This aircraft offers low maintenance and fuel costs. We understand that the company has set aside 1 year for this. Airline accountants are as pleased as pilots due to the triple threat. In the world's busiest airspace, capacity is now the most important factor. And this aircraft is what eliminates and removes other confusing issues. In standard configurations, the 777X has a capacity of up to 426 passengers and easily outperforms the Airbus A380, which has a capacity of 369 passengers. And compared to its competitors, this aircraft also has the ability to carry more cargo than its own aircraft. Therefore, it can generate more revenue. Furthermore, compared to the 4-engine jumbo jets it replaces, the 777X can carry more passengers and consume less fuel while flying non-stop from Dubai to Los Angeles or from Singapore to London, thanks to its range of 8,700 nautical miles. This aircraft is very long and in terms of efficiency is very good compared to other aircraft and is also flexible in some areas. We should thank the company that brought these features together, because by doing this, the company has achieved a world first. Although the A380 and 747 carry more passengers, their seats are more expensive and their routes are less flexible, the capacity and cargo volume of the 777X cannot be compared to the A350-1000 despite its efficiency. This company is recognized as the first aircraft to combine features such as flexibility, compatibility, and a very comfortable flight experience. The 777X is more than just an upgrade for airlines grappling with crowded airports, slot restrictions, and the end of the jumbo era. And by 2035, you'll need to master these issues to specialize in long-haul flights. I have a question for you. Airport slots are more valuable than gold in the aviation industry. We need to talk about the worst aspects. What do you think they are? Some of the world's most profitable airports are overflowing: Changi, Heathrow, and Dubai. These are not just airports. Airlines compete for every takeoff and landing slot in these battlefields. You need to reduce the number of flights. Flight schedules are completely full. To expand, you have to take value from slots and grow them. Now imagine yourself at the helm of Singapore Airlines or Emirates. You operate on routes with extremely high demand, such as Dubai to London or Singapore to Sydney. And now all companies have moved away from these ideas and given up on slots. No one wants them anyway. The traditional approach was to solve this problem with 4-engine behemoths like the A380 or 747. The economy is no longer at its peak. It's struggling. That's why this aircraft is so important. Let's bring this aircraft onto the stage. And what generates more revenue is, for example, the spacious luggage compartments in 500-seat aircraft, which is an advantage that translates into money. More revenue per slot, more cargo, and more seats. Most importantly, it achieves all this while consuming less fuel and at a lower cost than the jumbo aircraft it replaces. Efficiency is paramount for this company. Some airlines face difficulties with issues like airports and require regulation, but this is not the case for this aircraft because its wings fold. This jet is not only designed to bypass traffic congestion, it is engineered to thrive in such conditions. This situation does not apply in practice. The 777X is not a big deal in terms of airport expansion, which airlines are striving for, but it is more important in areas where competition is still fierce. For planners who have had to retire the A380 and 747 aircraft but are desperately trying to prevent a decline in capacity or profitability, this is a lifeline. And these companies say it is better to grow with hardship than to pay for slot machines, because acquiring those slot machines is a very difficult task. Airlines both anticipated and feared this moment. The giants that once dominated the skies are slowly disappearing. The A380, 747, and even the reliable 777-300ER. These aircraft have been in use for many years because their designs seem futuristic and are highly suitable for long-haul flights. However, by the 2020s, they are no longer economically competitive. Due to rising fuel prices, environmental concerns, and maintenance costs, very few airlines can now afford the luxury of operating these aircraft. Why have these superb four-engine aircraft been consigned to dusty shelves? And who do you think should replace them? The 777X is more than just a replacement. It is a vital lifeline. Most importantly, the new GE9X engines, sophisticated composite wings, and improved aerodynamic features help the 777X consume approximately 10% less fuel per seat than previous 777 models. This is a harsh reality. Without a suitable alternative, retiring the 747 or A380 could lead to a capacity drop on the busiest international routes, which could impact profits and market share. Older aircraft pose significant risks, and maintenance and flight costs are also much higher. They emit more carbon dioxide, which is why passengers do not accept them. Airlines must renew their fleets at a time when every expense matters. Fleet renewal cycles are challenging. For airlines, waiting or cutting back without compromising network strength is not an option. And this company has a very straightforward method for managing emissions and costs on long-haul routes. Everyone is eager to learn this method. Demand is driven by practicality, not nostalgia. The fact that the 777X could determine who will lead in the new era of international aviation and who will lag behind the world's largest airlines is a practical reality. You can stay in the air beyond range or engines, but no one knows how long you can stay. The goal is to attract the world's most valuable passengers. Business class and premium economy have become the main drivers of airline profits in the post-pandemic world. Back then, nearly 35 years ago, cabins were very small. You felt like you were in a coffin. Comfort, privacy, and luxury are the cornerstones of today's long-haul strategies. The 777X has become a game-changer in this regard, and they have now changed it. Seats that make everyone feel as if they are lying in bed have also replaced the cabins. Imagine boarding a plane where, at 35,000 feet, business class is more than just a seat. It's a private suite, a miniature hotel room, and now they've started creating rooms that resemble very expensive, very unusual hotel rooms. Emirates seems poised to do this as well. Lufthansa's cabin concept, featuring real beds, direct aisle access for all business class passengers, and various premium economy options that combine business and economy class, will be used on the 777X. And Arab companies will furnish the aircraft with luxury interiors to surpass European companies. Airlines can offer one-to-one arrangements on economy class flights without taking up space, thanks to the 777X's wider floor space, or carry more passengers on ultra-premium routes. You think it's just seats. Even the toilets will be luxurious. They will be gold, wider, airier, and more personal than before. These things are no longer even considered luxury. Flying from the Arabian Peninsula to a country like the UK is very expensive and costly. More revenue can be generated from the entire business class cabin than from the rear half of the aircraft. And many companies want to get to know the 777X aircraft well for this reason. And by attracting the most frequent flyers to their airline, they test the advantages of flying in such luxury and comfort on you. But their competitors can also afford high revenues. So the next time you see the interior design of the 777X, remember that you are witnessing the front line of a global arms race. If you get ahead of your competitors in the cabins, you will eliminate the other competitors and become number one, allowing you to become king. To understand the high-stakes drama surrounding the 777X, you only need to look at the airlines at the front of the queue. Emirates should be at the top of the list. It is the world's largest 777X customer and the undisputed leader of the mega-hub strategy. And Emirates will embark on new ventures to plan long-haul flights. The reason for this is that it has now started to sell a lot of its own aircraft. The 777X is more than just an ordinary aircraft for them. It is crucial for this company to ensure continuity in positions that form the basis of Dubai's expansion. As CEO Tim Clark clearly stated in his public statements that Boeing would face serious consequences if it failed to deliver, it will be detrimental to Emirates because the use of its aircraft will increase, forcing other aircraft into maintenance. For them, this means incurring losses. Lufthansa is next in line. Lufthansa has set its sights on global ambitions, aiming to be the first company to fly the 777X in commercial service as its launch customer. The German giant is betting that this aircraft will help it compete directly with Gulf Airlines on main routes from Frankfurt to Asia, modernize its fleet and reduce emissions per seat. And Arab companies are doing strategic things for this aircraft. Talks are being held with this company. Qatar is preparing for maximum flexibility with the approximately 100 jets it has ordered. It is ready to increase capacity at its Doha hub or use its order book to pressure Boeing for compensation and priority. In doing so, Qatar faces risk. This, however, seems like a calculated move to us. Asia-Pacific carriers such as ANA and Singapore Airlines are under pressure from various sources, including the rapid growth of regional competitors and tight slots at Changi and Haneda. This aircraft deserves royal treatment on long-haul routes, but maintaining that may not last long. The aircraft's efficiency and range enable Singapore to maintain its position as an intercontinental bridge and open new city pairs. This is not the case for a few companies. The major U.S. airlines, American, Delta, and United, are notably absent from this list. Why? And the reason is how we will fill such a large aircraft. Patrick Quayle, United Senior Vice President, says, "We need flexibility, not just raw capacity." They believe the A350 and 787 offer better economics for fragmented networks. And this aircraft is copying the goals of other large aircraft, but the risks are also very high. Negative outcomes like bankruptcy are possible. All airlines have spent billions on fleet plans and publicly bet on Boeing's next move. We are about to see this aircraft in the air, supported by many people even though no one really wants it, and no one is capable of competing with this aircraft. This is the uncomfortable reality at the heart of the 777X story. No one has boarded this aircraft for a scheduled flight. Despite all the excitement, billions in orders, and future fleet plans based on glossy renderings, the 777X remains an unproven promise. Everyone is in grave danger. From 2020 to 2026, and likely beyond, certification has been a moving target. And because this aircraft has been delayed, the engine section is prone to errors because it hasn't moved, causing malfunctions or software headaches. And now there are a lot of aircraft cabins sitting in dusty car parks and in the desert, so everyone is waiting for these cabins to be used. The red light is on, but they are waiting for the green light. No one really knows how this jet will perform in the real world, how the systems will hold up, how the engines will behave after thousands of cycles, or how it will compare economically to the A350 or 787 until it is certified and begins operating on daily routes. This is a concrete example of a high-risk gamble for airlines. Restructuring their networks around an aircraft that cannot yet fly has cost Emirates, Lufthansa, Qatar, and ANA billions of dollars. This airline now wants to strengthen itself, and it will grow if flexibility or positive measures are taken for the aircraft. However, if it fails, there could be severe repercussions. While competitors are capturing premium passengers, planes that cannot fly are experiencing financial devaluation and a decline in market share. Boeing's reputation is also at stake. After the MAX crisis, the company cannot afford another high-profile mistake. The 777X is not just a product, and companies have many shortcomings, so they need to be confident in addressing them. So, will this gamble pay off, or will the 777X become the most expensive piece of scrap metal in aviation history? Every order, from Frankfurt to Dubai, every delayed delivery, and every sleepless night spent in boardrooms comes with this question. Everyone knows that a lot is needed to resolve these issues. The biggest leap of faith in recent aviation history, record orders, and years of disappointment. The 777X is more than just a brand new aircraft. And this aircraft is sinking the companies, and they are just sitting there putting pictures of the aircraft in their apps. That's why a transition period is needed. Singapore, Qatar, Emirates, and Lufthansa have staked their long-term futures on this outcome. The industry finds itself at a once-in-a-generation turning point, caught between severe delays and certification uncertainties on one hand, and the promise of unique capacity and efficiency on the other. And this aircraft may have forgotten how to fly by not flying. This is another test of resilience and another threat to reputation, revenue, and networks. Different companies or different aircraft are becoming a very dangerous thing. Flying old aircraft for the next decade, sowing premium markets, or falling behind in the arms race for global supremacy. That is the question that will determine the course of aviation's future. Bets like this could make you king. If you were the CEO, would you prefer to take risks with established competitors or invest twice as much in the 777X? And if you don't choose wisely, everything could go down the drain. Victory or warning. Either way, the 777X is grabbing all the attention and time is running out. What's on your mind? Share your thoughts with us. Will the 777X be remembered as the most expensive lesson in patience in aviation history, or will it transform the industry? We'd love to hear your answers to these questions in the comments.